Computer, yes, sir.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We are
What they
back
do?
with another episode of the Agents of Chaos podcast. I'm your host, Scott Anderson. I'm here with my co-host, my brother, Brandon Anderson. What's going on with you, bro? Excuse me, I'm busting down my fruit bowl after my workout. So I'm
That's all right. I just had a one of them beef hot dogs from Sam's Club. So I'm good now. I just got
How
off
you
work.
doing? What's going on with you?
Man, back on the West Coast, dealing with this heat, not terrible, but being back in my own bed is great.
Man, we dealing with that smoke from Canada again, bro. That smoke that's coming down again.
Man, it's crazy how
like 187, huh?
It's crazy how it's still a thing. When I was flying, man, you know, when you fly in the airplane, you get above the clouds. It's beautiful. You see the clouds, looks pillowy, you know. And I ended up leaving from like Baltimore, and I'm like, this ain't even that much further from Philadelphia. So I should have just went to Philly. But man, we get up in the sky, we get up in the air. As soon as we start taking off, I can see the haze. See it all over the place. And then we get through the clouds, haze is mixed in with the clouds. We get above the clouds, it's still haze above the clouds. And then I'm flying to like different places, and I'm just like, it's all over, everywhere. And I'm flying away from it, and it's still South Carolina, North Carolina. You can still see the haze and the smoke. So these fires, no joke, B.
It's serious, bro.
And I wasn't even like, I know Baltimore wasn't that far, but I'm just like, I'm still not about to fly in there when they're telling me your flight's going to get canceled.
1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Get upstairs. Y'all gotta watch me on my podcast. You heard me?
That's what happens when you got dogs. And you raising them and breeding them.
Bro, my dog snuck there. He think he's slick. I'm gonna leave that in there. Y'all, we got him. You know what I'm saying? We started this. Everything up, Kiwi. Y'all go see it from the beginning. We make multi-millions. So,
but nah, man, I'm just glad to be back. A lot of stuff to get to today. Man, the NBA trades and why I hate them all.
Really?
The trades. I hate them all.
Get started. Let's go.
There's some spots that are good for some people, but I hate all of these trades, and I'm gonna get into why I hate them. But that, and then we'll talk a little bit about. Man, I want to bring to light just the differences between the NBA draft and the NFL draft. We're gonna talk about that just a little bit. But the first thing I want to kind of lead off with is I want to, it feels bad. I feel like the last 2 times we started, we're talking about bad stuff, but I just want to bring it in just to get it out the way. Sure. But just still bring awareness to it, man. Ryan Mallett, just hearing about Ryan Mallett drowning. 35 years old. And so I just want to highlight this, and it's not just because these guys are athletes, but just talking about certain things with athletes, period. Because sometimes when you get money, you start getting bored. People start thinking like, I want to do stuff, and what can I get myself into? And I get it if it's things that you like to enjoy. But when you have a profession like you do as a professional athlete, you got to think about things differently. How LeBron thinks, how Kobe used to think. That's your job. So you got to focus on what you do for your job and try to not take unnecessary risks. Ryan Mallett's not in the NFL anymore, but I'm just saying he was. Drowning is a terrible tragedy. Gavin Escobar, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys, died last year, hiking on a rock, and it was a rock climbing incident. Hayden Hillis almost died, was in the intensive care, but he was trying to save his kids, which I applaud, absolutely. I would risk my life for my kids too, of course. But just to be in that situation where your kids could be affected by like a riptide coming out of nowhere, and they need to be saved. So it's just, man, I hate this. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you got to be careful, but there's certain things that you just got to be mindful of. Like some things you just don't try, man. You don't tempt fate in those types of situations. Just we don't know what they was doing. Even with the people in the sub, the people in the sub.
Oh, bro.
Again, the thrill. Like,
Oh, man.
why are you going down there? Why? For what?
Man.
But like listen, it's tragic. It's tragic. It's sad. It's tragic and sad. But what are you going to see 12,000 feet below the surface in a submersible? Like, not even a real sub. It's just some things just like, like I said, my condolences to Ryan Mallett and his family, Gavin Escobar, whatever. But it's just some things, man. When you in a profession or you got responsibilities and things, and some thrill-seeking stuff just ain't worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No, I feel you. That's great. One time they were talking about with Tom Brady in New England, where he wanted to go. He posted a video or something of him jumping off a cliff, and he was like, "Don't send that over to the coach." He was like doing like cliff jumping or something. I got him.
Yeah.
And I think Belichick reamed him like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, are you crazy? You know what I'm saying? You're my star quarterback. What are you? I don't jump off of nothing." So no, I understand it, man. And those events are very, very tragic. You know what I'm saying? To have those things happen to me, and these are young. You know what I'm saying? They're not like old. They still had a ton of life to live. So you know what I mean?
That's absolutely, crazy, man. Gavin Escobar was 31. Ryan Mallett was 35. I think Peyton Hillis is 37.
And that's what's more concerning to me is the younger age in which these athletes or just people in general are checking out. You know what I mean? It's like they're still like some people, if you're like 70 years old or 80 years old, someone 35, you're like, that's a baby. You know, that's a baby, that's still a young individual. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's been crazy to me to see how younger these people are, and they're checking the body here. Kids at 24. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's just starting, and they're checking up here. So yeah, that's crazy.
Nuts, man. Nuts. But anyway, so trying to flip the script. Let's get on
about these trades. Yeah, that you're so excited about. You told me in a text message that, man, I love every one of them. This is great for the NBA. I'm bullshitting. What's going on?
I'm about to say that ain't me. I didn't say that. you see me looking up like, what text are you talking about? Hey, I hate all of these trades. These are terrible. And we're gonna go through all of these. And we're gonna look, there's some winners and losers in these things. I get it, sure. But this is terrible. I'm gonna say it again. This is terrible. All of these trades. Everybody keeps talking about how beneficial it is and blah, 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 blah for whomever. All right, cool. Let's start with the first one, Boston Celtics. In Kristaps Porzingis. Out Gallinari, which I don't even think he played, Mike Muscala. Neither one of those guys are even worth it. But Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart goes to the Memphis Grizzlies. And he is easily the heart and soul, if not the best player on the team. And now you get a guy like Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps was the unicorn when he came in.
Right.
He ain't played a full season in 2 years. So I thought they should have broke that thing up anyway. They should have broke up Boston some kind of way, shape, or form. I didn't like how they played. I don't like the fact that they don't have true leadership. And maybe that says something about Marcus Smart because he is a leader, but they still weren't able to get over the hump or bridge the gap because he's not the best player in a sense, athletically and talent-wise. But Jason Tatum, now he got to step up. I thought they should have moved Jaylen Brown or somebody. Somebody like that should have moved.
That's who they would end up moving. Like that's why the Marcus Smart trade was
for like a bigger piece or something, like something else. But I don't like it. I don't like this trade at all because Kristaps is not proven that he can be healthy for a full season, and and until that happens, it's a good fit if he's healthy. But if he's not healthy, or if he gets hurt halfway through the season, let's be real. We're not talking about regular season. We're talking about the playoffs. They need him to be in the playoffs to make a change for the outcomes that they've had over the last 2 seasons in the playoffs, or every season. They can't get past it. They didn't make it to the finals 2 years ago, year before last. But now Marcus Smart goes to the Grizzlies, which everybody's like, oh, that's great. He gets to go there, and now he can be that heart and soul piece for Ja Morant. Maybe he can keep him in. There's a lot of personalities on that Grizzlies team.
It's a lot. Memphis, bro.
It's a lot going on. Now you putting too much on a guy who's a role player, a good role player, defensive player of the year. I get it, but now you're gonna ask him to step into a situation that's already got the house is not. It's on fire.
Yeah,
but not.
They're smoking
that joke. Down.
Smoke. Yeah, it's smoking that joke.
It's smoldering right now. It's smoldering. Right
now. Yeah.
So I don't like that trade. I just want that's just where I'm at. I don't like it.
I didn't, like I said, I was shocked by it. I didn't, when I saw it, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was really, really shocked by that trade. But I agree with you there. I don't like that trade. I don't like that trade either. You know what I mean? I do agree that Boston should mix some things up. I thought Brown was the best person to replace in that situation like that. So for him to move, I mean, it makes me think, what did he show them that said you're the one that has to go? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Something in the locker room? Is it his personality? Is it the way he interacted after being swept? That they were like, "Hey, we can't build with this guy. As talented as he is, there's some intangibles that we can't. You know what I'm saying? That we just can't keep him around. You know what I mean? For what we're trying to do. I do feel like since Denver won it, now everybody, once you win a championship, all of a sudden everyone wants to follow suit with what you did. You know what I mean? And they're probably, let's get ourselves a mobile big guy. You know what I mean? That can do a lot of what he did, and that it happens. Someone makes a mobile.
It's a copycat league in everything.
Right. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I don't always see that working out for the best, because it's not drafting a player or getting a player like one you saw win it. It's the mentality of that player that got them there. That is what you're looking for. You know what I mean? That's what you're looking for. Like I bring him up all the time with Jalen. You can't mimic a Jalen Hurts because his mentality is what makes him great. It's not for me, not his ability. It's not the fact that he can throw the ball. It's not the fact that he can squat 400 and something pounds in high school or in college. Everybody, a lot of people do that, right?
600,
it's the way
600 pounds.
How much was it? I'm sorry.
I said 600 pounds.
600 pounds. 600 pounds. Right? But his mentality is that of, all right, I fucked that up. Let me get it right this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I messed it up. Let me get it back. He's a sphinx, and I think that's what makes him great. And I think that's what coaches need to look at. We talked about that before, but not to get too far off a track with that whole copycat thing. But yeah, man, I was shocked by that trade with that one there, bro.
Yeah, man. One of my boys actually messaged me. He said, I know you're an Eagles fan, B. He said, but I wanted to know, he said, what you think about Jalen Hurts next year, like when it comes to fantasy football? I said, he said, I feel like he's going to take another leap and be even greater or continue to be great. He said, what do you think? I said, absolutely. And it's just what you said. It's not because I'm an Eagles fan. It's not just because he had a good year last year. It's his mentality. It's how he thinks, and it's how he prepares. He reminds me of Kobe Bryant. Like when you are building success and you're trying to build a pattern of success, you have to work. You have to work. And you will not have negative results if you work. It's just that simple. It ain't even like you want to win a championship every year. But if you work, then you will outwork the trouble or the mistakes that you make. You're going to limit all of those. It's just like when they say the game slows down. That's because you keep playing, you keep watching film, you keep practicing, you keep throwing balls in tight windows. You keep doing certain things like that to prepare yourself, and that's what changed it. So
I feel you.
The other trade, this is probably the most asinine trade in the whole thing. Chris Paul to the Warriors.
The Warriors.
Now, Jordan Poole being out, they shouldn't have never paid him anyway. He's one of those guys that reminds me of Antonio Brown. You paid him your money, then he starts showing his butt. That's what happened. And started acting up. And that's why Draymond punched him in the face. So now we know why he did that. But
yeah,
Jordan Poole, I don't understand why you pay him. I understand getting rid of that contract. A 4-year, $128 million contract. Get rid of it. But Chris Paul, like, he don't even fit their offense. He's a half-court, slow it down kind of guy. He's not a three-point shooter. He's injury prone. And he's 37 years old.
So what I heard was from Max Kellerman, what's the other guy? Oh, shoot. I can't think of his name. Chris Collinsworth. I think it's Chris Collinsworth. No, not Chris Collinsworth. Oh, I can't think of his name right now.
Who's he on ESPN? Was it like Tim Legler or
something Collins?
Collins.
Shoot, hold on.
Maybe it was was he like was it the dude from FS1? Colin Cowherd?
I'm gonna get his name for you. I'm gonna get his name for you.
So she gets exactly what she wants and only pays for what she needs.
But anyway, what he had mentioned was the reason why they brought in Chris Paul was to Colin Cohort. Colin
Cowherd. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And he said they brought Chris Paul in to potentially take some of that excess movement off of Steph Curry. That way now he can play off the ball. He doesn't necessarily have to be a facilitator bringing the ball up and things of that nature. And I mean, and that makes sense. I mean, Chris Paul is 37, and Steph is 35. You know what I mean? Steph's 35 years old. So it says it takes some of the pressure off. The only reason why I like this trade is because I like those two guys, and I think maybe you bring them together, you get something. You know what I mean? Like it's not really like a basketball thing. It's more of like, I'd love to see these two players. I want to see Chris Paul get one. I still think with the deadly shooting of the Golden State Warriors, that they get some big people because they got smaller. They didn't get bigger. Everybody else in the West Coast is way bigger. You know, they faster. They got smaller, and then they went out and drafted a guard. Which they said is just Splash Brother 2.0, Klay Thompson 2.0. So now you're going to move off of Klay because you brought in what may or may not be a replacement. So I don't really know what's but I'm gonna wait and see again. I like Chris Paul as a player. Like I want to see him do something phenomenal.
I like Chris Paul too.
I don't know how getting smaller in a division built with redwoods is gonna make you a competitor. I don't see how that works, bro. I don't see it.
Trade is bad. It's a bad trade.
Yeah.
Terrible trade. It's good. It's good for the front office because you get off that money.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. It's a dumb trade. I just don't get it. I understand, like I said, Chris Paul, I agree with you. It's nice to see him play with, if he can play with them, cool. I don't want to see the numbers as far as like, I'm looking at the numbers now. It's like, oh, he's got a really good high 3-point shooting percentage. He does. It's just, because he doesn't shoot a lot of them. Not like Steph and all them. And it's just, and I'm not saying that, look, they're a good team. They're going to play. I don't think they're going to win the championship. I think that window has closed. But unless they make a trade for like a big man, like you said. But and I'm gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about this because I had a potential trade that would have been a nice 3-team trade, but it's probably not gonna happen now. But anyway, moving on. So we already discussed, Marcus Smart and where he's gonna be at, now that he's with the Grizzlies. But let's talk about Bradley Beal going to the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
I did see that.
So let me tell you why I still hate this trade.
Okay.
Because I don't understand you getting a player who is similar to the other two players you already have. So Devin Booker's a shooter. Right. He's a shooter inside and outside. Mid-range, deep. He's a scorer, pretty much. Bradley Beal is a scorer, shooter, He's not a slasher. He's not going to the hole to dunk on people. He's not going to the cup to get buckets. Kevin Durant is a shooter. Same thing. He can go to the basket. All these guys go to the basket. They're professional athletes, but that's just not their game. They don't set up to try to go to the hole. They're not like LeBron trying to get to the bucket.
Well, damn it! Like anyway, you know what I'm saying? Hey. Yeah. So all right, we back.
Hey man,
we had some serious technical difficulties here. So and I'm gonna edit it in there. And like it is till we get it popping, we're gonna have some struggles. And these are the early struggles in the pod.
That joint hit me like it was like dang.
Hey, bro, guess what I'm about to do? What you finna do? You know what I'm saying?
It was like my computer was like, oh, you don't like the Bradley Beal trade, huh? Okay.
Trade was good. Watch this. Hey.
Anyway, as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, not by my co-host, but by my stupid. Anyway, let me not say anything for my computer shut down on me.
Hey. 95 is alive. Don't mess with the computer. Don't leave it alone.
So, but yeah, I'm saying I don't like it because of their similar styles. You know what I mean? Like I felt like they needed, if they had a slasher or somebody that was going to the basket, or even like a big man would have been a great fit for Phoenix too. And like I said, I have a 3-team trade that I'll go over at the end. So please remind me to. But
okay,
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it? As I've so eloquently and been interrupted about mine, but still, your thoughts on the move. I like Bradley Beal getting out of Washington.
That's probably the one trade I paid zero mind to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be straight up. I paid zero mind to it because I think Phoenix has stuff to do over there to get themselves right. The biggest trade that I focused on was the Boston trade. Like I was shocked by that, and the one with the Wizards. I literally, while we were talking about it, I went and I looked up some things that Bradley Beal does, and it's correct. He is a slasher. Like he likes to go down to the lane, and I'm thinking of him, Devin Booker, and Chris and Durant all on the same team, and it's like it almost feels like you're getting, because to me there's a difference between a baller and a hooper, right? You know what I'm saying? Like big difference between the two. He looks like a hooper to me. Like he's gonna get buckets. He's not really gonna stay within the system, but to find a way to get himself to the basket. You know what I'm saying? And with 3 guys like that on the team, it could look flashy. It could look good. I don't know how that chemistry is gonna go though. I don't know how that's gonna mesh. If they're all gonna want it, I don't think any one of them is gonna be like, I'm okay with getting 6 tonight. You know what I'm saying? They're all gonna want to put up money. They're all gonna want to put up, which is why when he went to the Warriors, everybody's like, oh, how's it gonna work? Steph Curry is a very selfless player. He'll let you get 40. I don't have to get 40. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when I'm on, give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great aspect of this game that not a lot of people talk about. He's like, I don't have to put up 50 if you can do it. Like here, I'll facilitate. I'll give you the rock. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know if you're going to get that with these 3 guys, and if it does happen, it's like then who's going to get angry because they're not getting the ball and they're not in the offense the way they want to be a part of the offense and stuff like that. So this is probably a trade I'm going to wait maybe until like the All-Star break or like mid to see how it work out and how they get that chemistry together.
I feel like you're right in that sense of it. What happens is that KD's the only one that has a championship.
Correct.
Devin Booker's hungry. He wants one. Bradley Beal's going to be hungry. He's going to want one. And like you said, who becomes the facilitator in this transaction? What does your bench look like at this point? Are you going to play all 3 of these guys at the same time, which is probably what it looks like? And let's not get it twisted. We've seen this before. We've seen this before with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving.
That's exactly what I was going to bring.
Now, mind you, to me, that would have been a perfect blend, but they never played together. Kyrie was out because of COVID. KD was out because of injury. But that would have been the best because James Harden can be a facilitator. Kyrie
Right.
Irving can get to the basket. He's a walking bucket. We know that. Kyrie gonna go to the hole. Kyrie can shoot. Kyrie can score. So it fit that they would have fit together, but they didn't. Now you got three guys that all need the ball. They all need the ball to score. I mean, everybody needs the ball to score, but I'm just saying they all are
No, I know what you
dominant players.
They're gonna have the ball in their hands at important moments and things like that. It's like, give it to
They're
me,
all
give it to
ball
me.
dominant players. So
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. I don't really know how this is gonna work. As I said before, I hated the trade.
Right.
I think it was dumb. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So I want to talk about some trades that should have happened.
Okay.
Should have happened. May still happen. Should have happened. I don't know what the updates are now. I think there's three big men that should have been on the move. And listen, just hear me out on this trade. Hear me out on this. Three big men that should have been on the move. DeAndre Ayton. Cat. So Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
And Rudy Gobert. Now, I don't recall, and we'll check, but I don't think Rudy Gobert got traded. I think he's still on the what's it called? I think he's still on the Minnesota on the Timberwolves, right? So hear me out on this trade, and I'm just going to check to see where he is. Still, yeah, he's still on the Timberwolves. So listen to this trade.
Go for it. Is it team trade that you were talking about previously, correct? Okay.
3-team trade. Phoenix, Golden State, Minnesota. Okay. Karl Anthony Towns goes to Golden State.
Okay.
Rudy Gobert goes to Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton goes to Minnesota. Now let me explain why.
Karl Anthony finally gives Golden big. Yeah.
And he's a shooter.
Yeah.
He's a shooter. Yeah. They haven't had a big man on their team, let alone a big man that can shoot. Karl Anthony Towns in that kind of an offense where he can stay out on the wing and shoot threes or get inside would give them a dynamic that they never had.
Right.
They never had this kind of dynamic. So now you got the big man. You got somebody that can fit your offense because he's shooting. Now, Rudy Gobert. You move Rudy Gobert off of Minnesota because now Rudy Gobert goes to Phoenix. And there's other players that could have been dabbled into this trade. I'm just saying the main pieces. Rudy Gobert goes to Phoenix. What is Phoenix missing? They had DeAndre Ayton, and they couldn't do anything because he's not a scorer. He's a pretty good defensive player. But Rudy Gobert is only defense. So now you got guys that can score, and now you got a 7'4" guy in the paint that only plays defense, which is what they were lacking when they were playing against Denver. They didn't have any defense. They couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop anybody from scoring. Jokic was giving Jokic gives everybody work. He gave Rudy Gobert work too, but Jokic was giving DeAndre Ayton work, like flat out couldn't handle it at all. And so DeAndre Ayton wasn't effective against other players. See, Rudy Gobert might get scored on, but the other dudes, like he'll get the blocks on those other guys, the Bruce Browns of the world, the KCPs, all your role players, they're not getting buckets if Rudy Gobert is in the paint. So now you got Phoenix with a center that can dominate the middle and play some defense because you already got scores when you got Kevin Durant and you got Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton goes to Minnesota. Now that's just because now Minnesota's lost both big men, but now you get one back. You get a big man back who wants to be out of Phoenix anyway. Then he gets with some young players like Anthony Edwards, all the like those types of guys that he can start to build and make his own name. Listen, Minnesota ain't the greatest place to play, but neither is Washington. And guess what? Washington got Jordan Poole, Tyus Jones, and like 11 draft picks for the next 2 years from two different teams. Where in the NBA, which we'll talk about later, when you make a draft pick in the NBA, it has a much more immediate impact than in an NFL. You only got 2 rounds. You only got 2 rounds. So that's the trade that should have happened. And the thing, and what should happen next, James Harden just picked up his option for Philadelphia, so now they can start exploring trade options. So guess where James Harden should go? Portland. And guess where Damian Lillard should go? Philadelphia. Because if Damian Lillard is in Philadelphia with, listen, Dame Lillard with Embiid, and Maxey,
that would be
and all them boys, and I don't care about Tobias Harris. Get him out of there. I've been saying get rid of Tobias Harris for years. But
word is they trying to get rid of Tyler Hero down in Miami and get him next to Jimmy B. They trying to get Dame down in Miami.
See,
I'm trying to trade Tyler Hero, get Tyler Hero to Portland, and get Dame with
Jimmy Butler,
Jimmy B. Yeah, that would be pretty crazy too. We saw what they did last year. That would be crazy too. But I've been hearing the Philadelphia thing. Yeah, I think yeah. I like that.
Listen, you got somebody. Yeah. James Harden is a shell of himself, so that's why.
Only is I would need for Embiid to become way more available.
Yeah,
way more available. I'm gonna need you there for the whole season, my guy. I don't need any tweaks in the knee and the hamstring and the calf, none of that stuff.
But now he can play. But now he can play inside. He can play inside.
Yeah.
He can play inside more because Dame is going to make guys have to come out and guard him. So mark my words, bro. Like those are the. The reason why I don't like the Miami move. I don't like the Miami move because I feel like it feels more of like, okay, well, Jimmy can't do it, which is something that we already knew. I said this before. Jimmy is a great player. He's not a superstar. And I know he don't care, but I'm just saying he's not a superstar because superstars would have gotten lambasted, criticized for the plays that he made. And we said this in the last podcast. The plays that he made at the end of the game, he didn't perform. I just don't like Dame in Miami because I just feel like it's more of the same thing. Like it's not too different than when he had CJ McCollum. Okay, CJ McCollum is a scorer. He's just like Jimmy. He's a dog. He can play, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Bam is a decent big guy. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I just don't like it as much as I would like to see Embiid and Dame play off of each other because that's a big man, a guard tandem that we don't see very much of anymore. And we just saw it. Jamal Murray and Jokic. Guard, big man. We just saw it. When LeBron won with the Lakers, forward, but he plays point guard, big man, Anthony Davis. It's just and the Golden State Warriors, I know that they're sprinkled in there. They won a championship, but they have been winning before with the same type of scheme. So they play a totally different style of basketball. So I like Dame going to Philly more than I would like to see him in Miami. And I just feel like those trades would have been beneficial for almost all of those teams. Cat going to the Golden State Warriors would have been great for him because he's a shooter. He can go inside, but he fits their scheme. Gobert going to Phoenix, he can play defense. They need a defensive guy more so than DeAndre Ayton. That would have fit them because they already got scores. Ayton could have went over to replace the 2 big men that Minnesota would have lost. Makes sense.
I don't think Golden State is ever going. I don't think Golden State is ever going to get a big man because Steve Kerr is the head coach, and this is where nostalgia kills teams because he's remembering what did in Chicago with Michael, and they didn't have a big man, right? So he's like, "Oh, I This is where nostalgia and living in the past kills people. It's like,
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
Game is now. You need a big man. A big man is damn near close enough equivalent to have right quarterback in the NFL. Right? You need a good big man. You need an available big man. As much as Golden State shoots, if they had a solid big man, they would probably shoot even more because they could get more rebounds. Right? They don't have a really big guy in there. So Steve Kerr is out. You won't see that change with this team because as long as they've been there, it's been. I mean, look what they just did. They got 2 more guards. Like, you didn't get a big man. You didn't want to move for a big man at all. You thought 2 more guards would help your team. That's great. Genius.
You traded for them. And traded for them.
And for another guard. Like, I'm like, yo, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It's like a team having like 6 running backs. What the hell are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? How is this gonna work? So I feel like Steve Kerr is holding on old dynamic of what made him a champion back in the day with Mikey. He may see that in Steph. I don't know. If Golden State got themselves a solid big man like a Karl Anthony Towns, wow.
Yeah.
That would change the whole dynamic of how they play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think that we're going to see that happen as long as Steve Kerr is the head and has as much influence as he has because he's won championship. So the offense is going to listen to him. They're going to I know what I'm doing. I got y'all some shit. Let me keep doing what I do. Until this thing, and they made it to the playoffs last year. This thing, they would have to flat out stink this year for that to happen. And I think that's why Chris Paul kind of came in because, like, all right, well, if I get in a smart, savvy, then if it doesn't go too well, maybe all the blame won't fall onto the head coach. Well, I did get us Chris Paul, and I think Chris Paul could have just been one of those, like we hear in the name trades. It's the name that people get excited about, not really the ability that they're excited about. You know what I mean? It's like, Chris Paul here, but is he Chris Paul?
Right.
I mean, the one that we all get excited about is, this is 37-year-old Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying?
Is he Chris Paul or is he Cliff Paul from State Farm?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what we gotta wait and see, bro. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm excited to see how these things shake out and play out, but I'm not
excited at all. This is all going to be trash. This is terrible. I'm not excited.
Let me get
awful.
Football next. What's
I mean, like, man, you know what, man? Let's just start talking about football, man. These guys out here just doing anything. They just.
I will say this.
I don't get it, man. These guys are doing anything. They just decide, let's just trade for this guy. Let's, like you said, let's trade for names. If anything we've learned from this, and I don't want to keep belaboring the point. You're not the NBA. You're not LeBron. He's the anomaly. He's the only player that has gone to different teams in this era and won championships.
Yeah.
Multiple. 3 different franchises think about this. Just think about this. I get it. Everybody loves Mike. 6 championships. Everybody loves Kobe. 5 with the Lakers. LeBron took Miami, who won a championship before, brought them back to winning a championship twice. And not just twice, back to back. They won the championship back to back. He went back to Cleveland. Cleveland hadn't won a raffle. They ain't won a lottery ticket. He brought him a championship to a city that had been inept, an inept fan base for sports, period. He brought him a championship. Then he went back to the Lakers.
Next to that one, I'm gonna have to give an act to the Cleveland one. This is why, for me.
What?
Kyrie Irving was a monster that series up against Steph.
Oh yeah, no question.
And I think to this day, because they gave Bron that MVP in that game, is what soured that situation between those two. Because the way he played, oh my gosh!
But you know what though?
Monster, bro. He did.
He was.
No anything away from LeBron, but I'm just like,
right.
Kyrie. To this day, I'll stand think Kyrie got the MVP of that series, but I get it. It's going to go to LeBron. The blame is going to go to LeBron as well. Kyrie wasn't going to get the blame. Kyrie's not going to get that.
And here's why Kyrie wouldn't have gotten in this regard is because Kyrie was there with Cleveland when LeBron wasn't, and they couldn't even get in the playoffs. Right. So when you insert one player, and then he makes, Kevin Love comes through there, like when you do that, you almost have to give it to LeBron. But I don't disagree with you. Yeah. He was killing Steph Curry in the
anything. This is one of the players I can now say when I think about it. He made Kyrie better.
Yeah. Yes.
He made him
absolutely
better. Like you know what I'm saying? He started getting moving around more. So yeah.
LeBron told Kyrie before he left, he was just like, "Look, bro, you don't want to do what you're doing. Listen, we can stay here, stay in Cleveland, and just keep trying to get back to the championship." He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go to Boston." How'd that work out? Oh, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go to Brooklyn. How'd that work out?
How'd that work?
Trade me. Trade me. Now I'm going to the Mavericks. Now I'm going to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? Did they make the playoffs? No. So then LeBron goes to the Lakers and wins the championship after the Lakers ain't been to the playoffs in 7 seasons. So everybody's making all these moves and making all these trades, but they are not using what you just described. They're not thinking about scheme. Right. They're not thinking about future. They're thinking about name.
Name. Get butts in seats with the name on the back of the jersey. They're just thinking money. They're not thinking longevity.
No. So it is what it is. So we'll end on this, and I hate to do this. Really hate to do this. No, I don't. I don't hate to do this.
No, you don't. I say no, you don't. Stop.
Can we get who says this? It was somebody. I don't know if it was on a radio station or if somebody used to do this. I know it was. It was on like a Sirius XM show. We're gonna have to come up with something. We need to give out the You Big Dummy Award. Listen, Zion Williamson. This man then got a porn star pregnant. And now Ja Morant's team is talking about he had a toy gun. And that's why he got 25 games instead of 41 games. So, first of all, I see your face. Zion.
This dude's a gangster. Name's Clarence. Clarence parents have a real good marriage. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? No.
Ja Morant, listen, you dummy. Stop playing with guns. I don't care if it's real or fake. Why do you have people around you recording you with fake toy? Why do you have a toy gun? Where did you?
Let's talk about that real quick. Because if something's going on with Pat, stop shooting that little. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, no.
Why?
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it
either.
When they told me that toy gun, I looked, man. It wasn't a toy gun until that second one came out, huh? Oh, that was a toy? Mm-hmm. Got you, bro. I got you. Fuck out of here. Like, I'm not buying that bullshit.
Nah, come on, man. I wasn't born yesterday. I wasn't born yesterday. Come on, man. This dude was
Zion, again, Zion, to me,
I really want to hear what you got to say about this.
I'm trying to help.
Stop.
I think it's a mental thing. Like, I still think it's mental. It's almost like he's a grown man physically, but neurologically, he's still in high school or college.
Yeah.
His brain is not caught up with his body yet. And he's listening and doing stuff like, fam, what you need to be getting healthy, and the first thing you do is going in the adult start. Genius. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not fixed. not making sense to me, fam. Like, so,
Yeah, let me tell you something else. Let me throw this at you. Let me throw this at you real quick. So, did you hear what she was? So the girl, Mariah, whatever her name is, Mariah Mills or something. So you know what she said, right? Did you hear what she said? Like the threats that she was making on Twitter. I need to know if you heard them or not. You froze for a second, so I'll wait. Because what she said was pretty ridiculous. Hey, I'm back in here. You there? What'd you say? Hey, we almost done now, man. We about to finish. Oh, you probably can still. I'm in the same meeting, so you probably use the same link. All right. Oh man, it's crazy.
Damn.
Man.
All right, so y'all seeing my light right now. Give me a second, man. I gotta get my camera set back up, bro. Like, I'm trying to fix this.
You know what, man? It's so funny.
Keep it.
They don't want us to talk about these kids, man. That's what it is.
We gotta stop talking bad about these athletes.
That's all right. We almost done anyway.
Oh man. Heavenly Father, be with us for the last 15 minutes, please. Let us get through this.
It ain't even gonna be the last 15 minutes. It's gonna be like, wow.
Damn.
So I need you to know. I need to know if you heard what she said. Why she got banned on Twitter?
No, I did not. I don't even really rock with Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account. What's going on?
Oh, we gotta get your Twitter account. But anyway, she was on Twitter threatening to release the sex tapes of her and Zion. Hold on, wait till you hear her demand. And that's why I was like, man, hold up. Is he in on this? She said, if you don't trade Zion from the New Orleans Pelicans, I will release the sex tapes.
I don't even say this. Nigga. Like, you know, come on, fam. What? So now what we do is we blackmail the NBA with a sex tape of you and your man to get him to get traded. Out of toy gun like John Morant. Don't get you out of there. What's we doing? What's going on, man? You know what? I blame fentanyl and TikTok. That's who I blame for this. This is ridiculous.
Hey.
At this point, bro, I think what Zion should do, and this all jokes aside on the Zion thing. I'm still gonna crack jokes on the Memphis thing, but all jokes aside on the Zion, I think Zion needs to take time away, and I think I said it before, away from everything and everyone. Go into a hyperbaric chamber or go travel somewhere. Go travel to Honduras, somewhere where it can be your thoughts.
He need the hyperbolic time chamber that Vegeta and
Any-
Goku was using.
Look, and if you can't do that, just find a quiet room and a nice bag of weed, right? And you'll be okay. We'll figure this out, right? You'll figure this out, right? You'll get it. You'll figure this out. I don't, because I was so big on him with his talent and his ability. I never thought brought to me. When his shoe broke and then he got injured, and I'm like, oh, damn it. Here's going to be one of those things. Because sometimes the biggest thing for an athlete to overcome is consistent injury. That's why they ask you, hey, how is your mental after this? Because it takes a lot to battle back from an injury just to get hurt again, to battle back from an injury to get hurt again. That's why I think, and then when you got your mom in your ear, you got your dad, stepdad, or whatever in your ear, you got your entourage in your ear, then you got your teammates in your ear, you got ESPN in your ear. And I don't think Zion has somebody in his camp that he can truly trust and has his best interest at heart.
Right.
I think that's why he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And we can't pinpoint exactly what's going on, man.
Listen.
You feel me? So I do feel bad for Zion, but at this point, I'm like, first of all, tell your girl to deactivate every account she even had. I don't give a damn if she has a Wikipedia account. Delete everything. Don't post nothing. Unless you help me post up to get my game better, don't post nothing at all. At all. Leave it alone. I think Zion needs to maybe go dark for a while and just figure this thing out. Just figure this.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All I can say is not a victim, but a tragic outcome of bad around people that are bad around you.
That circle. Yeah.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. And that's something we got to talk about these young athletes going forward. Picking their circles correctly and cutting ties with old friends who, and it doesn't mean you don't have to still, like, you can still call and talk, but if you know you got to get to that next level, you might have to cut some weight off. You can't carry that with you. You know what I mean? And that's really your friend and really understands. They know I'm doing this so you can go here. When a rocket ship takes off, what does it do? It drops those boosters, right? So it can go further. Seriously.
Hey.
Those boosters that hang on, it's like, yo, fam, what is you doing? Like, that's something else again we could talk about on another topic with the pod, but
That's a great point, bro. That is a fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
For that rocket to get into space, it's got to drop those other rockets. Now, them rockets helped you get there.
Yeah, them boosters helped you, but to ascend high, I fall off. The rocket ship is designed to have a button that when they reach a certain point, hey, you gotta drop off. Cool, fam. Yeah. Go excel higher now.
Yeah, okay, because we know once you get in space, now you can explore, you can research, you can do all the things that we can't do because we're not the rocket ship. We're not the shuttle. We are the boosters to help you get to where you gotta go. So that way when you get there and you excel, you can come back and say, hey, thank y'all for getting me to where I was.
Yeah. But nobody wants to be the
now. We preaching now.
Nobody wants to be the boosters. And with that being said, I know we're gonna wrap this joke up because if we keep talking about these players, it's off. But what I do want to say is with the NBA draft, the first round draft pick, the super tough kid out of from overseas. I saw the pick. I understand the pick. My man is too damn skinny. He needs to find somebody that's gonna feed him. He gotta eat. Like I'm so serious. I'm like, oh, he's tall. I watched him overseas. I was like, oh, this kid. Then I saw him. I was like, ooh, no. You need to eat some grits, some scrapple, some turkey bacon, some gumbo. You gotta get some. He needs
some cornbread. He needs some fried food. He
has to bulk up. He's gonna get demolished. I'm not expecting big things from him in this first year. I just think he's too frail.
Yeah.
I think he's too small. Not height-wise, of course, but body size, he's too small.
Yeah, man.
Karl Anthony Towns will make a day of it down there with him. I don't care if you're 7 foot. I'm pushing you 5 feet away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we've seen 7'7", 7'6", 7'5". George Mirasan, 7'5".
Yeah.
Yao Ming, 7'4". Manute Bol, 7'7". Mark Eaton, 7'2". Yeah. This isn't something we haven't seen before, but they have not not been dominant. Yao Ming was
Right.
good for a couple years.
Right.
A lot of guys are good for a couple years, but we
Yeah.
have not seen guys dominate the league with that size. And he's
Right.
skinny, like you said.
Well,
He's
I
skinny.
mean,
Taco Fall.
He's Shaq again is an anomaly. Like he was huge from go. Like you know what I'm saying? He got in the league. He was huge then. Like so, but yeah, that's the kid has to. He has to. I saw him in the weight room. Yeah, y'all saw him in the weight room. I like, oh man, like yo, they gotta get some protein.
Yeah.
They gotta get this kid has to. And I know that they say, oh, what if it slows him down? I said, I get it, but he's a matchstick right now.
Yeah.
He's a match right now. He got to put some type of weight on and then do exercise that can get him used to moving with at least an extra 10, maybe 15 pounds.
I think at this point, that's one thing I'm excited about since in this offseason with the
Right.
trade going, with the draft. I want to see him grow. That's all.
Right.
Like I'm excited to
Yeah.
see if he can be what everybody wants him to. So we'll see. That's
Right.
the wait. That's the last thing I'll say. I'll say that with the wait and see moment. I'm looking forward to that. Because everything else I'm not. It's trash and I hate
With that being said, thank y'all all for tuning in to another episode of the Agents of Chaos podcast. We do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Y'all know who they are. Coliseum Media, Top Notch Training, Boost Basketball. Thank you guys. We do appreciate everybody commenting, everybody sharing. We are going to keep bringing you these podcasts. We are going to keep giving you this information. If anyone wants to join in and be on a special one, because I think this is episode 10, good brother. We are here at episode 10, and we wanted to be special, but this was special enough. We done this thing that dropped out about 17 times. So when you watch this will be a very special episode of the Guys Podcast.
They go like, why they laughing so randomly?
Yeah, like check it out. All right. So, but again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to be back at it again next week. We're going to talk a little bit more. We may dive in a little bit more into the NFL. We know that season is coming up. We got OTAs going on. There have been.
I'm excited.
And I hate. I did hear something about 11 players being suspended for gambling, but we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. So, before we start a whole other hour talk about our situation, I am your host, Scott Anderson. I'm here with my brother, Brandon Anderson. And for the Agents Podcast, I'll let y'all next week.
All right.